All right, hello and welcome. So today we are playing some Hermitage strange case files. So hopefully this all works out. Hold on, I gotta make sure my properties are going correctly here. Audio prop. Because I know sometimes I'm really quiet. So I want to make sure I'm actually not quiet this time round. Because, well, I gotta make sure. Oops, I didn't do all of the properties, but okay, here we are. Here we are. Hopefully this one works out this time, and you guys can actually hear me. But you know, we'll go from there. We'll go from there. Cat, you don't want to go there. Got a perfectly nice blanket on the couch you can go to. That is not the droid you're looking for, Cat. Don't meow me. Don't meow me, mister. My cat was trying to get into something he shouldn't be getting into. So, anyways, we're gonna resume the game. Gonna 100% resume this game. Okay. Hold on. We're going to lower the decibels a little bit. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, hopefully, I sound okay. Cat! So, update on my cat though. So, I had to take him to the vet yesterday. And so, it was because he hurt his hip, his hip right above his tail. And so, had to take him into the vet yesterday. And turns out, it looks like he just pulled a muscle and didn't hurt his bone, like the bone in his hip or tail. So, very excited that it was just most likely a bruise. So, yeah, good news. Very good news. Alright. Cecily is walking down the hallway. Opening hours are long over, and the clubhouse is completely silent at night. It's dark, but she knows this place so well that she could navigate it with her eyes closed. Weird how you can become so familiar with a place over time without really noticing. Ever since the day of her transfer, all she longed for was a warm and welcoming home. Today, that wish has been half fulfilled. The art club is dipped in darkness, a familiar sight for Cecily. Whenever no one else was around, this place served as a safe haven for Cecily and Eloise. Whatever happened here, Cecily will never forget those memories. That's the way things should be. Cecily. Eloise is standing there, as familiar as ever, but no matter how hard she tries, Cecily doesn't feel pleased about it like she did in the past. Maybe the store manager got something wrong, Cecily tries to tell herself. Uh-oh. I'm actually still going to turn up the mic volume here. We're gonna see how this is right now. We're gonna go right there. Okay. But he did everything he could to get to the Balmoral, although he never left the store. He always had her best interests in mind. Cecily can't possibly turn a deaf ear to what he's been saying. Also, Eloise never. Hello, Soname. Welcome to the party, and thank you for the lurk. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Okay. Okay. So, also, Eloise never tried to deny it. That's what causes Cecily the most distress. However, she can't stop her thoughts either. It's like saying, if I could do it all over again, I would do the same thing. Few rays of moonlight light up Eloise's outline. I don't know why that was such a tongue twister for me, but it was. It was, clearly. The unbearable silence weighs heavy on Cecily. So this is it. Nothing remains hidden from you for long, it seems. Eloise gently brushes the paintings on the wall, her face buried in the surrounding darkness. For an outsider, the store manager's instincts are sharp. Or was it also obvious when I first came into the store? She sighs as if nothing matters anymore anyway. Eloise, you're here now. Things can't possibly get any worse. Say what you have to say, Cecily. Eloise turns around and looks directly into Cecily's eyes. From the outside, she is as calm as always, but Cecily knows her well enough to see through it. Eloise has given up hope. The past is the past. There's something more important that I need to know about. Please answer me honestly, Eloise. Cecily takes out her phone and shows Eloise the screen. Before she entered the classroom, she activated the stopwatch on her phone. What time is it now? All she has to do is read out the numbers on the screen, yet Eloise seems baffled and doesn't respond. She turns away, looking sadder by the second. I guessed as much. A wave of negative emotions overcomes Cecily. Eloise, so you've seen it too. After awakening from one of her hallucinations, Cecily experienced the same exact symptom. Even before she was free of those eyes, the memory still left her trembling. Time didn't align correctly anymore. It might just be a minuscule difference of 10 seconds, but the sequence of time is now completely mixed up for Eloise. Looking at the wall clock, she can see the needle. She can see the needle trembling frantically, as if unsure in which direction time is supposed to flow. That explains why Eloise can't read the time, even if she wants to. Are you being targeted? Eloise nods slowly. It was close behind me just seconds before I woke up. How much longer? About a day, I'd say. I see. Somehow she can feel the entity's shadowy steps coming closer. Is this some kind of benevolent gift? Pure luck or a twisted hunting game for the shadow creature? Cecily doesn't have an answer to any of it right now. Let's run away together. She puts away her phone and grabs Eloise's hands. Eloise's hands are as warm as ever, giving Cecily a sense of familiarity. No. However, Eloise refuses the kind gesture. I deserve it. It's time to let it come for me. You don't have time for this. Eloise, do you even know how dangerous that thing is? Yes, I can feel it. Truthfully, I expected it to be worse. Eloise's words make Cecily stop in her tracks. Eloise, what are you talking about? You know, that girl was always the worst at landscape paintings at first. Some people's spatial awareness isn't naturally keen, even if their basic skills are above average. Those kinds of paintings require perspective knowledge or else they'll look off. If something was right in front of her, she could replicate it better than anyone else. But otherwise, she couldn't even get the pattern on the floor straight until the end of last summer. Suddenly, the teacher was praising her advanced style. Why do you think that was? Hannah, Amelia, Faith, Evelyn. One name after another leaves her lips. Although she doesn't know their faces, Cecily has heard those names in the art club before. It's hard to find a true friend to talk to, isn't it? It shouldn't be. After all I've done, it's only natural that my punishment is severe. I messed up. Eloise raises her left hand as if trying to touch Cecily's face, but stops herself at the last second. Cecily, you should go back. The store manager seems to know a lot of things, and he'll find a way to help you. Tears form in her eyes, but Eloise's words remain firm. You can stop worrying about me disappointing you anymore. Let's go back together. What if I say no? Why would you? His assumptions were completely right. I can't even look at myself. I'm a rotten person. There's so much more you'll be able to do in the future, but it's best for everyone if my story ends here. What are you talking about? Let's get out of here. We can talk more about it later. Cecily grabs Eloise's hand and tries to drag her out of the classroom, but Eloise remains where she is and shows no sign of wavering. The harder Cecily tries, the more she can feel an air of despair taking over the room. There's fear in Eloise's face. As Cecily pulls on her arm, Eloise's expression turns angry. What's wrong with you? Do you think you're a saint? Leave me alone! I'm ready for this, and you're not in charge here. Sometimes we act before we think. For the first time in her young life, Cecily slaps someone. Eloise covers her cheek in surprise. Stop saying you're ready as if it means anything. I know I'm repeating myself. I know I'm probably annoying you. But if that's the only way to get through to you, so be it. Cecily. So you're sorry? You just want to leave things this way? How can you even think like that? But it's the only... Shut up. There's never just an only way. Am I angry? Of course I am. I hate this, but this is not the way. This isn't closure. Nobody wins. Her throat hurts. She can't remember ever shouting this much before. It takes her nearly a minute to catch her breath, and during that time, the only sound in the room is her restrained breathing. I know you won't forgive yourself easily, Eloise. Cecily's voice is slower and more controlled now. A glimmer of light is dancing in her eyes. I won't sugarcoat anything if I'm not going to lie. After everything you've done, I'm unsure about the future. I don't know what to think. What I do know is that you still mean a lot to me. Giving up here isn't doing anybody any favors. The Eloise I know is smarter than that. Stronger than that. The girl I know doesn't shy away from a fight. She faces any problems head on. Cecily grabs Eloise's shoulders. This time, Eloise doesn't resist. I'll talk to the store manager tomorrow morning. I'll ask for help and find a way to deal with this. But it'll be dangerous if I'm on my own. The thing almost tore me to pieces a couple times while it was chasing after me. You should know how dangerous it is. So I may get hurt, I may go crazy, or I may die. But I want to survive. I won't give up, and I want to live a good life and find some closure. For you, as well as for me. After speaking her mind, she lets go of a stunned Eloise and turns around, preparing to leave. Please help me. Cecily says those last words without turning around. The once rebellious Eloise looks at the open door and slowly sinks into a corner. This night is bound to be a sleepless one. 10:20. Okay. Oh, I really pulled an all-nighter, didn't I? Good morning, Sir Manager. Hold on a second. I waved my hand to pull a watch out of a drawer. Yesterday, something occurred to me. Putting aside that monster for a moment, you inhaled so much incense in one breath it won't just simply go away. Anyway, I'd like to give this a try. I can't read the time. She answers before I even have a chance to explain. Huh? You guessed right, and time's jumping more and more. So it's true. How did you find out? Well, that's a long story, but it's for the same reason that I was able to guess that you were coming over today. We should wait until everyone's here before I explain, though. Eh? Her eyes are darting around the room. She looks pale. Wait a minute. Could it be possible that... I spoke to her, but she's still hesitant. Am I being too idealistic? I rub a hand against my forehead and try to keep myself calm. It's going to be a lot more difficult with other Eloise around. What are you hoping to learn from her? I just stumbled upon a few things yesterday that could be a potential lifesaver. That could be potential lifesavers. But we need to work as a group to piece it all together. I don't think I'm actually done with Chapter 1. Am I not done with Chapter 1? Am I actually not done with Chapter 1? Hold on. Am I not done with Chapter... I don't know. I see. Cecily smiles bitterly. She hasn't tried to contact you? No, once she makes a decision, she sticks by it. She won't change her mind. Is there really no hope? I won't say that. Cecily looks toward the door. I think she listened to what I said yesterday. She Realizing how much trouble he caused others along the way by acting blindly must cause an unbearable guilt. I can relate to how she feels. I find it difficult to imagine how a well-behaved, smart girl such as Cecily could relate to that. She'll come around, she murmurs to herself. I know her. I did the right thing coming here, didn't I? A tall figure steps into the light. Eloise walks up and stands next to Cecily. Eloise? After a sudden burst of joy, Cecily's expression suddenly becomes stern again. Unspoken emotions are looming on both of their faces. There's no way around this. Alright, now that we're all here together, let's discuss the plan. There's one thing I need you two to confirm. Considering the limited time we have and the bunch of things that need to be prepared, I decided not to beat around the bush. It will come today, is that right? It feels as if you understand the situation better than we do. They both throw me a quizzical look. All I can do is scratch my head. Well, I wanted to wait for both of you to be here before explaining everything. As for Scarlet, she's already in the know. For what it's worth, you may not be the first victims to have come into contact with that monster. Rather, this thing seems to have appeared several times before, always posing a considerable threat. Several times? But why? Searching for longevity or enlightenment, wanting to escape the confines of the material world. What was most associated with these things in ancient China? All that sounds very familiar, similar to the concept of Taoism, doesn't it? The two girls look at each other. I pick up Chronicles of the Crane Temple and hand it to them. Scaly silkworm, a name Cecily should be familiar with. That's how the ancient priests referred to it. After having been ravaged by the creature, the particular temple described in this book crumbled because of the lack of practitioners. The monster attacked during a great ceremony. Almost everyone attending it was slaughtered. Blood and several limbs littered the room. Most of the bodies were disfigured and had huge chunks missing from their heads. I don't mean to scare you. It was just a gnarly scene. I think I do need to... Gonna put it there. Okay. I stopped and slowly take a sip of water. My hands are shaking and I tried to hide it as best as I can. The details are terrifying, but I think the two girls are scared enough already. If the plan is successful, such a tragedy can be averted. If the plan fails, so in short, that monster has appeared before. Wow. Wow. Cecily looks surprised while Elias is still staring at the ancient book. Even for a girl who is adept at learning, understanding the obscure writing style in that book is no easy task. There seems to be no record of what you said in here. That scene you described is in another book or something? Keep looking. Huh? It says afterwards in the following years, surviving Crane Temple Taoist tried to raise money in the countryside to recruit new apprentices. But he didn't seem content with the results. It went on for more than 10 years. Eloise rubs her eyes and her face turns strangely pale. Hey, what's wrong? What are these numbers? Eloise's reaction to it is even greater than anticipated. She closes her eyes, shivering, before finally calming down again. Up until now, Chronicles of the Crane Temple was just a book that helped me get some facts straight. But now I know that the key to your survival lies hidden within its pages. Fighting the nausea that's been choking me since yesterday, I forced myself to go on. This page is dedicated to the surviving Crane Temple Taoist. He was just an ordinary Taoist priest at the time and his name was unknown. He inherited a secret recipe passed down to him by his ancestors. They made use of a special elixir to catch a glimpse of what they called the Great Path. This knowledge was passed on to devoted practitioners so they too could make this experience. The fatal incident in which the creature attacked happened during a ceremony at which they had all gathered to walk the Great Path. It happened right before it was the unknown monk's turn. Did they really use lilac grass? The description matches the experiences one would go through when exposed to a very high dose of incense. I doubt there's a way to guarantee one's safety, but they never used it without supervision. Those were safer conditions than you had, and yet things still went wrong. Their elders would teach them a formula beforehand, more of a song really. Chanting it collectively seems to have been the only way to make the scaly silkworm lead them be during their spiritual voyage. His older brother was so anxious that he snuck into the temple to get the elixir, and you know what happened then. It started with a stare. The Crane Temple Taoists believed that this monster could be appeased if it hadn't been around for too long. Anyway, back to the story. After the older brother did not arrive at the ceremony on time, a group of disciples decided to go to his room to see what was going on. They were met by a gory sight, a body reduced to a pile of flesh. Then the scaly silkworm emerged from a shadowy corner of the room and went on a killing spree. Starting with the temple's eldest, it massacred one after the other. The Crane Temple Taoist hid beneath the corpse and dared not move or look. He repeated the chant over and over again in a whisper as fast as he could. After repeating it 3 times, the aura of despair and dread surrounding him finally disappeared. Honestly, I'm not too sure if the chant was really what saved him in the end, or if the fact that he hasn't consumed the elixir yet just didn't make him a target in the creature's eyes. But right now, we don't have any other option. It's a risk worth taking. There's some more useful details in there, describing how the creature is extremely fast and good at keeping out of sight. But the most important thing is probably the chant. That doesn't sound very realistic. Cecily smiles helplessly, but doesn't say anything else. Despite her life-threatening situation, she's still thinking calmly and logically. Good at hiding, moves quickly. Delois raises 2 fingers. But where are we going to find that chant? All that aside, there's only 1 page here. You really got all that from a single page? Haha, well, I take the ancient book from Eloise and place it back in a drawer. I don't know if you've ever been interested in witchcraft, but chanting is an important aspect that has been passed down from generation to generation. Some of these tunes are just ordinary ones meant to sound spooky, while others contain real things. Of course, the word real is relative, as none of them can be explained scientifically. Creating an appropriate ambience, people help people fall into a deep slumber, a trance-like state. It's a little like hypnosis, but more powerful. It's a rare skill, but nothing unique. As an anthropological researcher, various religious and occult rites caught my attention over the years. It's obvious to me that these Taoists had actual skill and knowledge. It's not just foolish trickery. There's a lot of hidden meanings in this mysterious text. If you look at these numbers more closely, don't you think the arrangement is strange? Only from 1 to 5. Wait a minute, 5? Gong Sheng Zhu Dui Shi Yu? I don't even know. I don't even know if I'm saying them correctly, but that's okay. The 5 notes on the pentatonic scale. Correct. It's a very smart way of encrypting information. Once you understand it, it becomes obvious that what we're looking for is in plain sight. These numbers are the chant we need. Whoa, unbelievable. How did you do that? Well, let's just say sleep is overrated. Notebook, tape, mobile phone. Good thing the phone didn't break. I placed those 3 things on the table while flashbacks of my eyes nearly falling out of my head from working all night haunt me. Okay, that's everything. We got a lot of work to do before it gets dark. Uh-oh. I'm Skip. After careful consideration, this seems to be the only way. The store manager handed out a list of things that needed to be acquired before sundown. Mostly paper and pens, a large piece of white cloth, various paints, and a few other gadgets that you would find in a craft shop. Scarlett is back by the afternoon as the 2 girls return from the shopping trip. Scarlett is on the 2nd floor with the store manager preparing paint buckets. The second floor once served as a storage room, but now it's been emptied. Several objects and materials have been used to seal off most of the corners of the room, little by little, turning the once sharp angles into a smooth surface. Only one corner has been left unsealed. The whole contraption makes the room look like it's still under construction. The store manager described the procedure and the thought process behind it beforehand. It's to block the scaly silkworm and limit the paths it can take. The store manager feels as if he's suddenly gained a lot of insight into the matter. Things seem to be clearer now. The chant has been carefully recorded, and the store manager has gathered all the information passed down by the Taoist priest. The scaly silkworm always appears in the corners of the room. It also hides there, moving so swiftly that it doesn't even touch the ground. The only logical conclusion is to seal off the room to limit its movement while simultaneously being able to keep track of it. Cecily once asked the store manager about the contents of the storage room, or better yet, the lack thereof. His reply was short and swift. He had entrusted an acquaintance to find a moving company to sell things off. Now, Cecily and Alois are busy drawing the rune constellation. They're unfamiliar with all of those mysterious symbols before today. All they knew about Taoist priests came from the tales and movies, which said that they carried special swords and yellow parchment to cast out evil spirits. However, as is so often the case, reality and entertainment couldn't be further apart. There's never just one clear-cut path to the truth, but people tend to get caught up in the concept of rationality and realism, when imagination allows for so much more. People tend to shut things like that out. It's too bad, but ultimately, that's just human nature. Ignorance is bliss. This rune constellation, drawn from the store manager's memory, is not the same as the one Cecily saw in the temple doors during her hallucination. These runes have meandering, sinuous lines like crawling worms. However, they are not the most important part of the ceremony. The white cloth is spread out on the ground with a large number of nonsensical patterns painted on it. Circular shapes are discernible, but all in all, it still looks chaotic and cluttered. According to the store manager, this particular set of runes was once cast into metal whenever the ceremony was to be held. During the ceremony, all Taoist priests under the influence had to stay within the circle of runes. It served as a means to protect against the scaly silkworm, Engraving metal seems a little far-fetched, so this is about as close as one can get to the original thing. There's not a lot of space in the room, but everybody gave it their best. In the end, they all agreed to split up the work between them, all allowing Alois and Cecily to work on the smaller runes first. Since there's no telling if any of it will work, the two girls tried to place the runes together in as dense a fashion as possible, just in case. The pencil outline was filled with a marker. Luckily, modern ink doesn't leak easily. From a distance, it looks like one big mess, but fortunately, the results are quite satisfactory. The prototype the store manager drew on paper is quite eye-catching, and the girls did a great job. If that can be counted as effective, it's not bad at all. Looking at the dozen or so circles cascading around the ground, Cecily feels quite empowered. She's thankful that she chose to trust the store manager instead of hiding something from him. He's gone above and beyond to help her. He even prepared several recordings of the chant with different kinds of equipment. Since the Taoists spoke in an old dialect, the store manager made alternate versions just in case. Without his and Scarlett's extensive help, the girls would have probably slipped up somewhere along the way and made a deadly mistake, even if they had somehow stumbled upon the solution. All in all, it's still a mystery how the store manager is so familiar with these kinds of things. Summoning otherworldly beings and partaking in ancient rituals is hardly part of someone's daily routine or some leisurely hobby, is it? Same goes for Scarlet. Even Cecily realized how crazy it all sounds from the very beginning. Yet Scarlet just went along from day one, working alongside the store manager, raising questions, finding answers as if it were all just another day on the job. Even though all this must be new to them, they both seem like seasoned professionals. No matter what they find, they adjust quickly and come up with new solutions. There is no reason at all for Cecily to doubt someone who is helping her so selfishly, but she can't help it. But why exactly? This isn't the right time to think about it. It's nearly 8 p.m. and if things go according to plan, the action is about to begin. Cecily is the first to walk into the room. Are you ready? Eloise is sitting in the middle of the circle, picking up some scattered scraps. Half a dozen incense sticks are laid on the ground around her. This seems to be all she had left, and with things about to get serious, it's all or nothing. Then again, following the store manager's guidelines is probably the best way to avoid the worst. Cecily carefully steps inside the ruined circle as well, but unlike Eloise, she doesn't sit down. Cecily goes over the plan once more. To put it simply, all we have to do is recreate the incident at the temple, only we'll be properly prepared and armed with knowledge that we can use to gain the upper hand. We control the situation this time. I know you can't walk close to the water and not expect your shoes to get wet, but we know what went wrong last time. There are two major differences when we compare this to the failed ceremony from back then. First of all, the priest's brother's room, where it all happened, was in no way prepared. They didn't even have any protection runes. Secondly, they didn't repeat any protective chants, which gave the scaly silkworm enough time to get comfy in the corners. Even if only by accident, they basically created the perfect conditions for it to roam freely. The priest survived in the end, even though he was in the room. That tells us that the runes might not be key. Singing the chant 3 times seems to be a part of the ritual that mattered the most. If done according to the Taoist method, one recital of the chant takes 1 minute, so we need at least 3 minutes for that part of the ceremony. Of course, we may or may not need more time, and it might not even be about the number of repetitions, but we need a rough estimate at least. There's no sugarcoating the risk. In order for the monster to actually enter this room, one of us needs to use the incense again. We still don't know that much about lilac grass, but we know that inhaling the smoke is an integral part of it. This time, we are in full control over who inhales the incense. I did my best to trim the shape of the incense stick for it to burn more slowly. Also, the smoke should sink into the ground more easily. Whoever's our bait stays close to the ground while another keeps an eye on the overall situation. It should all be done as quickly as possible. The smoke will begin to thicken after all. If both people lose consciousness at the same time, that would mean certain doom. To put it bluntly, lure it out and stay calm. When it emerges, use the things we prepare to delay it as long as possible. Okay, delay it. Cecily looks at the various items around her. They are covered with paper of the same color as the floor to camouflage them. Amazing how much they have managed to hide from prying eyes. Using these things to interrupt a sinister monster that slaughters humans for fun is like threatening a polar bear with a toothpick. However, the runes copied from the ones found at Plainview Temple might give them additional powers. The human's worst fear is always uncertainty, and this is no exception. Although you were the one who asked for help yesterday, it seemed like you'll be protecting me instead. Since she has the most experience with incest, Eloise volunteered to play the bait. However, yesterday proved to Cecily that even experience doesn't protect you from its dangerous effects. But she had no valid reason to tell Eloise not to do it. Eloise, yes? After this is all over, let's sit down and talk, okay? Her phone starts beeping. She tried to cover up her embarrassment. With the store manager's lighter in hand, she lights the incense sticks one by one. Cecily frowns at the all-too-familiar smell. She waves her hands around to get rid of the smoke, which is needed thinner than usual, meaning that her preparations were effective. If she doesn't deliberately inhale the smoke, it should be possible to stave off the effects a little longer. Eloise reaches for the incense and places it right next to her. Then she lies down sideways on the ground, her hands folded as if in a prayer. Now it's up to you, Cecily. Her words already sound as if she's struggling to speak clearly. Yes, don't worry, Eloise. Cecily gets up and turns on the playback of her phone's recorder. Despite knowing it's purely psychological, Cecily takes a deep breath. She knows these are about to be the longest 3 minutes of her life. It's quiet all around them, even though the recording is playing. The entire room seems to stand still. When will it emerge? Eloise doesn't know the answer to that. Her chest is heaving a little. Her palms are sweaty as Eloise unconsciously rolls the silk thread into a loop, only to loosen again over and over. The store manager's voice gradually melts into the background as he continues his chanting. The air is heavy. Eloise's eyelids are flooding. This isn't good, but Cecily knows she did everything she could. A tingling, stinging sensation. Despite there being no light in the room, its corners suddenly turn even darker, blacker than black. A cloud of smoke rises. Cecily instinctively waves around to disperse it, only to realize that the smoke isn't coming from the inside of the ground. The strange purple smoke doesn't adhere to the laws of physics. It doesn't even have a source. The air feels like a sponge soaked in ink, letting out smoke every time it's squeezed. Oh. Almost as if it were sentient, the purple smoke condenses in a corner. Then a crunching sound like fabric being torn. Cecily stares at the point where the smoke is gathered and holds her breath. The darkness deforms and warps again, sending a chill through the room. No pupils, no eyelids, no shimmering white in the dark. But an eye is an eye. Cecily recognizes it immediately. She could never forget it. It is here. Uh-oh. The enigmatic monster seems to be adapting to its surroundings. Little by little, it's squeezing itself out of the fabric of darkness, its angular body spreading out, arcing into the air. This weird, bizarre being conflicts with the natural rules of our world. It is composed entirely of various sharp angles, but its surface is glistening with liquid reflection. One section of its body is covered in weird, scattered eyes, the closest thing to what we would call a head. This thing is abnormal from the very core of its existence. Cecily is sure of it. Without any warning, a cold, sticky feeling starts to wander up Cecily's ankles. It feels as if melted ice water is being injected into her vein. As if she's becoming weightless, as if she's free-falling. The acid in her stomach is building up, a sickening sensation. The veil of everything she has come to accept and know as reality is mercilessly torn away. The last small sense of security she had left vanishes. Her sanity crumbles as her body folds and falls apart within herself. She would like to close her strained eyes, if only to escape the horrifying mad gaze. But she eventually swallows the fear and tries to maintain eye contact. Sharp, bone-like appendages are protruding from its body, their razor-sharp tips giving the impression that they could rip time and space itself apart. That must be a kind of claw, Cecily quietly thinks to herself. How else are you supposed to think? Like, huh? Oh, wait, I say as I, don't think quietly to myself a lot of the times. You can't see anything that resembles an ear, but God only knows how this thing functions. Its physics-defying body is strangely twisting and rearranging every couple of seconds. Upon closer inspection, she realizes the different shapes are not directly connected to one another. They seem to be loosely hanging in space, ignoring all the constraints of common sense. She readies herself for what's next. Cecily pulls on the thin thread, and the slight tearing sound of the adhesive tape can be heard from further away. The remaining corners of the room have also been covered with tape, which maintains a subtle tension that, once unfastened, creates a curve in the corner. With a bit of luck, it might be possible to cut off the creature's entrance. However, it doesn't exactly work out as planned. The appendages on the morphing monster's body easily cut through everything in its path. The parts of it that have already successfully emerged can't be removed by simply erasing the corners. With a disturbing crackling sounds like tendon snapping, the thing raises its head and looks around. It takes but a second to spot its target. Ah! A small pot of liquid which much looked like water is forming on the ground in front of Cecily. The creature's body is splattered into a pulpy, bony puddle, as if it has been thrown against a window with full force. For a short moment, it reminds Cecily of a scene at a terrible car accident. Something seems to have been viciously ripped from the air. Despite the fact that she didn't inhale, her lungs start bulging, filling up like a balloon. She can feel faint heat rising from beneath her feet. Smoke is rising up from the ground. The wounds are already showing signs of damage after just one attack. They can only be delayed for a little bit, Cecily thinks These runes are just a small help. They can't be relied on for protection. Weird crunching and clinking noises are coming from the monster's unnatural body as it retreats back into a dark corner. The thing is floating through the air like some otherworldly god, the corners of the room being the entrance to its kingdom. Cecily is drenched in cold sweat. Nobody really knows what the original runes were for. With no practical knowledge about them, this right here is the only way to see how they actually work. The store manager only explained it vaguely before. Cecily can't blame him, even if she understood the principle herself. It would still be difficult to explain it to someone. The nightmarish creature is behaving as if it isn't bound to this world at all, and is free to traverse through space. Space covered in runes being the sole exception. It's impossible to keep track of its movements or understand them. Its body defies common sense, twisting and warping in the most disturbing ways. Its actions and movements are ferociously rapid, and its piercing eyes render any attempts at hiding from it futile. Does any of it really have an effect? If anything, it looks as if the monster avoiding the spot seems to be a conscious decision. While Cecily is still lost in thought, the monster attempts a second strike. This time, the ground shakes under the vicious attack. Various items are violently thrust into the air, reducing it to nothing but dust. Cecily lowers the thread in her hands. It's not surprising that Dallas fell victim to this ferocious beast. This isn't a fight that can be solved by brute force. Even if you have proper weapons at hand, if anything, rash and violent decisions will only make the things worse. The rune seems to be keeping up for now, despite showing first signs of cracking under pressure. They've already surpassed everyone's expectation. But there's still more to be done. Cecily holds her breath and kneels down again. Then she starts drawing something on the ground. A third attack. No thinking, just drawing. The moment the pen touches the ground, it moves as if it has a mind of its own. Cecily quickly fills in the parts of the runes that have disintegrated. The monster is now rampaging outside the rune circle. Frustrated, the store manager's plan to ambush it doesn't seem to be working out as planned. But it's too late to worry about that. There is a faint ringing in the distance. 1 minute has passed. A sudden impact from the side. Another one. It's still holding up so far. Despite the heat, the marker is still drawing runes on the ground. The monster thrashes around, smashing against the barrier, making it hard for Cecily to keep up. You know, for a second I thought it was the vibrating sound in the game was actually my phone, but it was not. But I'm just like, man, my phone decided to have a bunch of messages. I'm like, that is coincidence, I tell ya. There are 12 sets of overlapping rune patterns on the ground. Each impact damages about 2 or 3 of them. Process differs depending on the pattern, but Cecily managed to pair 1 or 2 each time. Luckily, the ink is withstanding the inexplicable heat. Although the ancient pioneers of this ceremony were more professional than everyone here combined, modern science and technology do have their advantages. Inhaling too much incense, Cecily quickly gets up, gasping for air. It's almost like coming up for air when swimming, but through supernatural smoke instead of water. Nobody expected this to turn into a deadly game of tug-of-war, but there's still hope. Now that they know how it works, they're determined to stand their ground and finish this. Huh? What? Dizziness sweeps over Cecily, as if she were suffering from extreme vertigo. Her vision goes dark. She falls to her knees and tries to break her fall by reaching towards the ground. This is dangerous. If she falls and lands outside safe space, her left hand seems to dig into the ground, beyond the boundary. She instinctively retracts her hand and pushes herself back off the ground immediately. There is a gaping hole in the center of her palm, white bones and pulsing veins clearly visible. There is no pain, no bleeding, and whatever fluid is dripping out of the wound disappears into thin air. The malicious creature flies to one side in annoyance, ridding itself once again. As Cecily realizes what's happening, her legs turn weak. What kind of bite was this? Cecily is so confused right now that she can't think clearly. She tries to regain her footing, but she stumbles and kicks the marker away from her. With a sharp, abrupt hiss, the creature rushes towards it, knowing it'll be the girl's only hope. It is no match for the creature's attack. The marker breaks apart. Black ink splashes across the room like blood. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Cecily screams but dares not reach out again. Eloise is still lying beside her, clothes torn from the many attacks. Cecily glances over to check on her. Fortunately, she's still unharmed. The monster twists its head and looks back at Cecily. Its burly appendages ready for another attack. But then it stops midair, and its many teeth scatter into countless strands of blue silk. Now it looks like a jellyfish pressed flat against the wall of a glass tank. It's playing around, trying to provoke its prey. Meanwhile, the inky wounds on the floor are frothing and producing a pungent smell after having blocked so many of the creature's attacks. What should they do? They've long lost the marker, and there's only one pencil, a pair of scissors, and some paper cutters left within the rune circle. The pencil was used for rough sketching, but repairing the rune powers with it will be nearly impossible. Nowhere near as effective as the ink marker. However, the runes won't hold much longer if nothing's done about it. Maybe her mind is just playing tricks on her, but Cecily can hear a faint wailing from somewhere. The most important thing now is time. Stay calm. Stay calm. With each attack, the runes are damaged even more. The ink boils until parts of the runes simply evaporate into thin air. There's nothing here that Cecily could use to quickly replace the evaporated ink. Even if there was, it seems like the runes would remain fragile either way. What about something other than drawing? Cecily is surprised at her own rationality. Her breathing is calm and her thoughts are clear. There might be another way to make the runes more sustainable. A whole set of runes could be engraved on a surface and might work, even if the ink ultimately disappeared. The engraved parts would last. The hard floor isn't an option, that much is clear since I tested it in the afternoon. All she has is a pencil and a knife. So the pencil then. Although nowhere near as large as the radius as the rings on the ground, at least the pencil has a cylindrical shape. By drawing the runes much closer together and compressing the whole pattern, they could indeed be carved into the pencil. Even though the pencil can't be stood upright on the ground, the scaly silkworm can't reach the space near the runes. They might just buy everyone some time. That's it! The ground is shaking, and the creature seems to have found its rhythm. The pauses between its attacks are getting shorter. The self-imposed cage seems to be crumbling. The phone starts beeping again. The second minute has passed, and about half of the prepared defenses have already been destroyed. There is no way to retrieve what has been lost. Soon there won't be enough space for one person to lie down in. Cecily helps Eloise into a sitting position while she leans against her body for support. She throws the notebook aside, picks up the pencil and knife, and starts engraving as fast as she possibly can. There seems to be not any straight lines or corners, and most importantly, no mistakes. Cecily has never been under so much pressure. The clock is ticking. She barely even looks at what she's doing as she moves the knife across the pencil. A piece of wood less thick than her pinky finger. No matter how driven and motivated, anyone else probably would have been able to do this. Thanks to Cecily's artistic skills, though, she has nimble fingers. She's making it count. Disturbed by what's going on, Eloise suddenly frowns and starts to whisper. Cecily responds casually, but doesn't get any more answers from Eloise. It's probably just a nightmare induced by the hallucinations. Poor Eloise. No matter how hard she tries to fight it, the incense around her is still eating away at Cecily's self-control. Something is floating in the corners of her eyes. It kind of looks like a row of British Guards' bearskin hats. Hallucinations? Cecily can't worry about that right now, as an unrelenting shock wave brings her back to reality. After one of those and the soul room might start coming down on top of everyone. Cecily is even more determined now. The beast is circling spray, occasionally picking up whatever objects are close to it and tearing them to pieces. Looks like even supernatural creatures get frustrated sometimes. Cecily adjusts her position to make more room for Alois. The safe zone is shrunk once again. So many protective runes have broken by now that Cecily can already feel the monster's vile breath on her face. It extends its sharp appendages again, stretching its bony teeth around Cecily in an effort to demonstrate its impending victory. It is my decision. He has nothing to do. Alois is still immersed in hallucinations. She twists and turns her body uneasily. In spite of the situation, Cecily still manages to squeeze out a better smile. It seems like all the trouble started the moment she joined the art club. Although she ignored the provocations back then, Cecily could never forget how sad and scared she'd been. Without Alois's help, she wouldn't have made it through the bullying and harassment. She still remembers the day Alois stood up for her for the first time. It was a tense moment. What Alois did will always mean a lot to her. Who would have thought that moment would create such a close friendship? And who would have thought that friendship would cause her so much pain? Cecily finished the last engraving with tears in her eyes. A loud, unpleasant sound fills the room. This time, the monster seems determined. All of a sudden, thousands of whirling tentacles extend right up to Cecily's face. Cecily begins to panic at the creature's bizarre morphing. She takes a deep breath, forgetting about the incense around her. However, someone else manages to react even faster. Stop it. Although she still hasn't fully recovered yet and shaking on her feet, Alois stands up. She steps directly in front of Cecily to shield her, a last line of defense. This isn't how Cecily pictured things to turn out. Alois? Alois ignores Cecily's shouts and stays where she is. It looks almost as if she's in a trance. No matter what. Today's her birthday. Watch out! A large shadow punches out of the darkness with incredible force. A burst of wind blows Cecily's hair out of her face. She can feel sudden impact, but there's no sound at all. Huh? It hurts. Oh. Sharp pain shoots through her arms like lightning, and several bones seem to be cracked. Her shoulders make a crunching sound when she moves, but she tries to ignore it. But the slightest push would make her fall to her knees right now. It looks as if Cecily's improvised rune pencil saved both of their lives. A small thing like that proved nearly as effective as the large runes, enough to survive an all-out attack, at least this once. Why did you? Whispering to herself, Cecily takes a look at Alois, who's struggling to get back up from the ground. She's overcome with emotion. Alois, I don't know what to say. After the main attack, Cecily feels as if she can follow the thing's thought process by now. Although still attacking fiercely, Cecily can sense its exhaustion. Even a creature like that has its limits. The chanting in the background is nearly over. The third minute is almost up. Once that happens, the creature might finally be soothed by the mysterious tune, just like it was in the past. The moment of truth. Cecily holds tightly onto the pencil. There's a radiant, blinding burst of light. Staring directly into its eyes makes its actions a little more predictable somehow. Knowing what's going to come next could give them a fighting chance. Not today, Mr. Monster. Cecily murmurs to herself as she shakes her bloody arm covered in cut. I know what I need to do now. This time the attack came from the left, just as Cecily thought. The monster is cunning and is targeting the injured Alois instead. Knowing where the next attack might come from gives Alois an advantage, however small it may be. The monster twists and turns, snapping through the air like a whip. She's beginning to feel the blood loss from her arm, but Cecily clenches her teeth and stares at the whimpering creature, refusing to let go of the object in her hand. Pencil's boiling hot. It feels as if she's gripping a scorching iron. The scent of burning skin just up her nose. But that doesn't matter now. The creature suddenly changes its strategy. It floats through the air, tearing away a piece of its own body with sharp, pointy claws. Pulpy green liquid drips over Cecily's head. Cecily raises her left arm in an attempt to keep the liquid away from her and Alois, but it's too much and her frame is too small to block it. The sticky green pus drops onto her skin and immediately creeps along it like a living thing. It burns through Cecily's soft skin, rushing through her veins, boiling her blood. The entire left side of her body seems to be burning up and melting away, while the right side is strangely frigid and cold. It feels as if someone's hammering nails into her heart. But she wants to live. She has to. It can't all have been for nothing. Hey, it's almost time, right? If you don't hurry, I'm gonna run. There's a sound of something ripping and the bizarre mountain of angles assumes a shape again, accompanied by an extremely sharp howling sound. The monster's body strikes out once more. Cecily extends her left arm. The toxic fluids may have already burnt her skin, so offering up some more won't make it different. Intentionally letting the beast come closer is a lot harder than she thought. Cecily's left arm is almost completely numb, and the whirlwind of lashing tentacles nearly reaches the tip of her nose. At the critical moment, Cecily bites down on the pencil hard. Although the shock of the impact almost cracks her neck and the teeth turn dull with pain, she remains on her feet. Just got back in what? Oh, yeah, Cecily is currently fighting a monster, and, so she had to engrave the ruins that they were originally using as a protective shield around them. She engraved some runes on a pencil, and so she had to put it in her mouth, because her left arm, super damaged, super broken. So, they're currently fighting a monster, and the 3 minutes that they need to fight the monster is almost up. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. But yes, welcome back, by the way. Welcome back. It is a, weird timing to come back to, but, surprise. Were you working on homework? Yeah, it definitely is quite the game. It definitely is. Because, I was not expecting it to be this weird, but, surprise. It's very weird. Very weird, but I like it. Not homework, you're on break, but was working on work. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. How long do you got left to work before you're done for the day? When a dozen pairs of eyes are directly facing her. Would you feel better without those things? You're done now? Yay! Yay! That is good. That is good. I am glad that you are done now. I am super glad. Are you gonna go home now and do homework, or are you, chilling for about an hour? Ooh, okay, chilling. Just chilling for an hour. That is good. That is good. Are you streaming today? Oh, you work at home? Oh, wait, you work at home? Yay! Yay! Working at home is nice. You're on break for the term. Yay! Even better. Even better. It is nice. And yep, here today. Yay! That sounds fun. Oh. Oh. Sad day. There we go. But yes, yes. Cecily does her best to keep her brain from processing the pain pulsing through her body. Fine, whatever happens, happens. Maybe the incense is showing effect, but her expression is becoming less tense and she smiles. With her hand covered in blood oozing from her cut arm, she quickly draws a circular mark on the monster's forehead. Yay! Yay! Thank you! Yay! Freed from the ads! Thank you for the sub. The prime is a prime sub? Yes. Thank you for the sub. The prime sub. Yes, thank you so much. But yes, now you are free from the ads. Yes, you are free from the ads now. What game are you playing on stream today? And what time does it start? Because depending, I might come raid you. Depending on when you start. The real question. Okay, okay. More Virtue's Last Reward in about an hour? Okay, so it'd be about the time I end stream. So yes, in about an hour, I'll come raid you, okay? Yes, I am excited. I haven't played Virtue's Last Reward yet. Yay! You're welcome. Glad to help. I am glad. I am excited. I haven't played Virtue's Last Reward yet, so one day. I'll live vicariously through you though and watch you play. The roof starts spinning, or is it the whole world? A warm sensation is spreading through her lower abdomen. We're getting near the end of it, when things are getting crazy. Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Hopefully, it'll be a good ending, despite the craziness. Hopefully, it will be a good ending. A warm sensation is spreading through her lower abdomen, as if she's been punched in the gut. Cecily falls to the ground and is unable to muster any strength to get back up. She turns her head to the side, wanting to see if Eloise is okay. No longer strong, can't, no. Who is Eloise talking to? There's another ringing sound. At last, the darkness swallows her whole. Oh, I hope we made it out of there? Question mark? A hint of warmth gently sweeps over her body like a soft wave. The only good ending is the last one, so it might be an ending or maybe a bad ending. So hopefully, regardless, you're gonna get an ending. So we'll see when you get to the end of it. Yes, hopefully we did make it out. Because yeah, hopefully we did make it out. Because I think we did. A hint of warmth gently sweeps over her body like a soft wave. How long has it been there? Her vision is still blurry and she's unable to process what happened. What she does know, however, is that right now there's nothing to worry about. Only now that this weird, unsettling feeling in the back of her mind has fully gone away, does she realize how long the creature has haunted her, nestled in her thoughts. Just thinking about it is enough to give her a headache. What exactly did she do last night? Cecily is unsure whether she even wants to remember. A cold, bone-crushing pain still lingers in her chest. But she doesn't feel that she's being watched any longer. That should be considered a success, no matter the circumstances. The floor is a mess, covered in sharp scratches, and the walls are speckled with ink and other liquids as if a bomb went off inside this room. Cecily is lying on her back, covered with a thick fleece blanket. Tears are shimmering in her eyes. They really do taste like salt, she thinks to herself as a single tear rolls down over her lips. Looks very improvised, but her wounds are covered with gauze and bandages. The strong smell of disinfectant hangs in the air. She looks around and spots a note next to her. It says, "Good morning. I'm waiting for you downstairs." The paper appears to have been ripped out of one of the store manager's notebook. Bunk. Yes, bunk. All the bunks. Welcome in, Crazy David. Welcome in. Welcome to the party. How are you today? How are you? It's already starting to turn yellow. Hello! Welcome to the party. How are you today? Even though he's taking care of a bookstore, his handwriting is atrocious. You're still recovering from COVID? Oh no! Oh no! Well, I hope you get better quickly. Very soon. Very soon. Hopefully, very soon you get better, okay? I wish you the best of luck in getting better from COVID. Okay? All the best of luck. Welcome. Glad to help. Glad to help. Hopefully soon, fingers crossed. Cecily almost feels bad about thinking that way, but it's true. She quickly discards the thought. She already owes him too much, and without his help, Lois and her probably wouldn't have lived to see the sun come up today. Asking so many favors of him, ruining the whole room, Cecily feels terrible about it. She makes a mental note to apologize to him for her behavior at the earliest opportunity. Oh, you just missed an weirdly intense battle that makes absolutely no sense, but you know, it works. Apparently Cecily here had to fight off a monster. And yeah, no, I think they just finally woke up the next day. And we'll see if we got the good ending for this chapter. But who knows? We'll see. Her left wrist and shoulder are swollen. Cecily moves around to make sure she hasn't dislocated anything and to make sure it doesn't still hurt. 3 minutes against a creature like that, she can count herself lucky if this is the full extent of her injuries. What is she going to tell her father when she goes back home today? Cecily's still a little worried, but she's feeling a lot calmer today. Cecily decides to let that hard-earned peace and quiet sink in for a little while longer. So, yes, such devastation.
This was not my intention.
Exactly! Devastation. Such devastation is not my intention at all. At all. Was not expecting it. Room's completely destroyed, and surprised we're awake now. To be completely honest, I don't know what to do. Oh? Well, no pain, no bleeding, it just doesn't seem right, but I suggest we wait and see how things turn out. It would be weird to go to a doctor with these kinds of symptoms and not be able to properly explain how you got them in the first place. The creature pierced a large hole through Cecily's left hand, and although the entire back of her palm was laid bare, she is still able to move her hand as if the bone wasn't touching at all. Oh no. Time to cause a little chaos. Namazu speak. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. We gotta set up the timer. Yes, yes. You got to see my mouse. Yes, yes. The real question is, how do I start it? Yes, yes. Okay. There we go. We have set the timer. Yes, yes. Now we speak Namazu. Yes, yes. The way she's able to make a fist and almost fit 3 fingers through the hole is truly unsettling. Yes, yes. The whole story seemed less threatening. Yes, yes. Totally worth it. Definitely worth it. Yes, yes. Makes it less horrific. Yes, yes. For now, let's cover it up with bandages. And if anyone asks, say you had an accident. You have to watch out for infection. Yes, yes. I know a guy who might know a way to get rid of it. To heal properly. Yes, yes. Yes. Fingers and all. Oh, yes, yes. So during the battle, she had accidentally gone out the boundary of the safety protections. Yes, yes. And her left hand, got attacked. And now she has a giant hole in the middle of her hand. Yes, yes. Yes. Bunk, yes, yes. Looks like it's up to him to come up with something. Yes, yes. Oh, sorry. Sorry for how things escalated and how far you had to push yourselves. And about your hand. Yes, yes. Maybe when the strange guy delivers the next batch of books, I can ask him about it. Yes, yes. Anyway, it would be best if you let yourself heal first. Regain some strength. Do you want to stay here or do you want to go back to school? I don't feel too comfortable about you not showing up there all day. Yes, yes. Well, I accidentally turned off my phone yesterday and I just realized I've received so many messages it's about to burst. Yes, yes. Lois, are you really okay? Yes, yes. Let's just make up an excuse. Yes, yes. I think we should go back and explain it to the teachers. Yes, yes. Well, that's one possibility, yeah. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. All the yes, yeses. Sounds fine by me. Yes, yes. Just promise not to cause any more trouble. Not for yourself, not for others. For your own sake. Yes, yes. Then we'll hurry now and come back later to make amends. Promise. Yes, yes. Ooh. Ooh. Well, we'll do even that. Yes, yes. I'm really sorry. Yes, yes. Ooh. Ooh. Yes, you're welcome. Yes, yes. You are very welcome. Yes, yes. Alright, just give me enough time to have a good cry while I think about who to call to help me clean up this mess. Yes, yes. Oh my god, that rhymes. Yes, yes. And just like that, the two Sterns hurry out of the store and head to school. Yes, yes. In the end, they're both still kids. Yes, yes. Very ooh. As much as Scarlet hates annoying children, Cecily and Eloise clearly don't fall under that category. Yes, yes. They still have a long road ahead of them, and if they struggle along the way, it's okay to help them out in whatever way possible. Yes, yes. Just a few days were enough to draw me out of the quiet and safe life I've been leading. Yes, yes. Who could have thought a single conversation would lead to such an adventure? Yes, yes. And there's a whole mess upstairs to take care of somehow. Just thinking about it makes my head throb. Yes, yes. Staying here is a, shall we say, necessity? So I might as well keep the place tidy. Yes, yes. So it looks as things have been resolved. Yes, yes. What do you mean resolved? Yes, yes. We still don't have a cure for the wound. We can't just let Cecily run around with a hole in her hand for the rest of her life. Yes, yes. We need to get here anyway. Yes, yes. Who knows how long he's been standing here already. He bows his head in my direction, a pile of books in his arms. Yes, yes. A pleasant afternoon to you. Yes, yes. If you're talking about an open wound, I would suggest giving up on it. These beings are simply passing through our dimension, and time and space itself cannot comprehend the rules they cause. Yes, yes. However, since they're only travelers, our world will forget them eventually. And at that point, it will cause it even more difficult to keep. It will become even more difficult to keep track of them. Yes, yes. You sure seem to know a lot about them. How peculiar. Yes, yes. An uneasy feeling spreads through my chest. Just a moment ago, I was prepared to come up with a clever way of getting information out of him. But now I don't feel like it anymore. Yes, yes. Okay. I can now pause it. I can now, but yes, thank you for the uwu and the Namazu speak. Yes. Yes. Funny enough, I never finished the Namazu tribe quest at all. I never finished the quest. I have, I never finished the whole storyline. I did the opening parts of it to get them to the spot on Finn, but I've never finished any of the tribe stuff. Neither have you, since you got your crafters max before. Yeah, same, like me too. Me too. I had all my crafters max at that time. So you and I both never did finish it. I managed to finish the Ixal one mostly because when I started, I think you were a couple patches after I was, I think, right? Because I started in like 3.1, 3.2. Haven't even done all the Crystarium and Studium quests, come to think of it. Yeah, same. Neither have I. But yeah, no, like the Ixal and the Moogle actually were both key to Finn's early crafting leveling. Because back in the day, I didn't want to level any of them. You've done the Moogles, Kupo. Yes. Wait. Yes, that is that's Ev's stream. I do the Namazu. I do the Namazu because I vibe with them so much. It's so funny. So funny. They are my, like, low-key one of my favorite tribes. And I haven't even finished their quest line. But yes. That is a-okay. I do not mind the Kupo. Because I have to do the same thing when playing 16. Because, yes, every time that I go to the hunt board, oh, the Namazu and the Moogles are both great. Yeah. Funnily enough, I don't really like them. Like, I like the Moogles when we get to the tribe quests and just do the tribe quests and turn-ins. But it's the, like, stack of quests leading up to the, start of the Moogle tribe stuff that I'm just like, now I completely understand why Sidurgu doesn't like these guys. They're cute, and my inner Sidurgu does not like Moogles. Oh, you haven't done that in years? Yeah, that's understandable. I have to do it for all of my alts. But the Moogles are annoying, and that's great. Yes, agreed. They are annoying, but that's great. We'll deal with it. They're hilarious afterwards, though. They're super hilarious. I still can't get over the sack of nuts. For the hunts and stuff and Shadowbringers. I still can't get over that. Every time I go to the hunt board in 16, I'm just like, okay, where's my sack of nuts, Kupo? One friend is doing an FFD20 game, and there's a Moogle that's annoying to everyone as much as possible. He holds all the power by means of delivering paychecks. Oh no. Elgato, your hubris will be your downfall, Kupo. You know, that is so funny. I like it. That is hilarious. Probably causes the most chaos in the FFD20 game your friend is in. Probably causes the most chaos. Okay, thanks to an old book you gave me, the girls weren't torn to pieces by that thing called scaly silkworm. Did I thank you for that? Please don't give me that look. I would have liked to assist you in person, but you're well aware that I'm not allowed to go beyond this floor. Mogado even talks back to Headmaster Sid because Mogado delivers the paychecks so I can get away with it. Oh! That is even better. I am liking this Mogado even more. I am liking him a lot more. Even better. He's right, even the stairs are off limits to him. Even if he gives it everything he's got, he could only take one step before being pushed back by an invisible force. Oh, speaking of D&D, so the other day we had our session. Your character wants to make Monado repent. Hopefully they can find a way without, oh, yes, hopefully they can find a way. Yes, they will find a way. Speaking of D&D, we had, your character is that kind of white mage. So, oh, yeah, yep, I can see your character being that kind of white mage, honestly. With, you telling me about their background. So, it's like, yep, that sounds like their kind of, thing. So, D&D the other day. Some of our dumbest players went and, well, they're doing dumb stuff, and they got us in trouble the last couple times. Again, but with a different group of people, and now we don't get jobs from any of them. I'm like, oh, no. This is why we can't have nice things, guys. It was only after the accident that I found out that his legs had been replaced with a pair of prosthetics. Yeah, I know, right? I'm just like, guys, I may be as dumb as rocks as you guys, but I'm at least smart enough to not start fights in a bar where we get one of our jobs from. Like, oh my god. Oh my god. My group is hilarious. But at the same time, it's like, man, what are we even doing? Yeah, bar fights. Yeah, so what happened was, so we, because one of the groups called the Amethyst Academy, they operate out of like a bar/tavern kind of thing, like a high-end bar/tavern. And, so our half dwarf decided to, start a fight, and so therefore, because of that, we don't get contracts from the Amethyst Academy anymore. I'm just like, guys. And you know what's even funnier? The rest of our party, because my character, she was sleeping in a tree because she does what she does, I guess. They didn't even bother stopping. It was, oh my god, so much chaos in that last one. It was funny. One time in an old campaign, a barbarian hit a lawful with another lawful because bar fight! Yes, I'm pretty sure that's how this works. I'm pretty sure that's how this works, but that would have been funny to see. I would have liked to see that. Or hear about it. What happened to Hermitage way back when? I can't even imagine. Nowadays, the building resembles a cursed city. No one can leave, no one can enter. You may not realize it, but your instincts have always been sharp. And maybe it was a wise decision not to get involved. FFD20 has a couple of feats. Wield Moogle and Throw Moogle. They do what I think they do? Wait, really? Is that really how those work? Oh my gosh, I kind of want those. Actually. Those would be amazing feats to have. Wield Moogle and Throw Moogle. That would be fun to do, like, when we're in battle, and we can just do that. That would be fun. At least to me. I want to see someone take those even once. Yeah, right, same. Like, I want someone to take those and use it at least once. You know who I think would do that? Whoa. Or Kasumi. I can see either one of those two doing that. But will they? Probably not. He brushes, yeah, Kasumi for sure. Like, totally Kasumi 100% would do it and would use it. 100%. Well, maybe? Thought crossed their mind, but probably didn't. And you kind of missed that campaign, the one that Ev was in? Yeah. I was saddened when you guys had to stop because of things. So, because I was, like, hearing, Ev play it in the background, when you guys had the sessions, and, you know, because, you know, I was doing my own, so, I mean, I was in my own at the time, so, like, it was weird hearing Ev in the background, and then I'm just like, go for it. I'm like, wait, I'm in the wrong D&D session for that. But yeah, no, one day you can pick it back up again. One day. How so? The scaly silkworm appears in this dimension by entering and exiting from a certain perspective. And you will find that everyone has one. Consider, for example, the eyes. Huh? Learned scholars died tragically at home, kings were mysteriously murdered in their castles, witchcraft researchers suddenly perished, all of them torn and cut. Their henchmen and assistants didn't always share that luxury. Many were left with a large gaping hole in their... You at least want to do more with the setting? The arc we ended things on was going places. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But yes, doing the setting and seeing the map and stuff is hilarious to me. I think it would be great to do like a one session one. Those would be fun to do. Those would be fun, especially in that kind of map. That would have been great. Been so great. So I can enter our dimension through a human face? I'm afraid it's a legitimate, valid theory. Moreover, it's been documented that all sorts of anomalies and deformities have developed on these victims over time. It's more than enough to drive them mad and ultimately kill them. They call it the Devil's Whisper. An apt name for a condition, if you ask me. A shiver goes down my spine as I listen to these stories. The Crane Temple Taoists describe the silkworm as a storm of unpredictable shapes. Its destructive urges led me to believe that it is primitive. However, it's actually a highly intelligent being. Can't afford to be reckless against an enemy who doesn't even adhere to our concepts of life and death. Things looked really grim and it was a gamble, but my faith in the runes was well placed. Our ancestors have treated us well. Thanks to the runes, the girls' lives were saved. Otherwise, they would have met the same cruel fate as the priests back then. Runes? What are you referring to? Protective runes carved into the floor. The priests seem to have relied on them to ward off the silkworm during their ceremony, too. Although they weren't that durable, they still proved most useful. Is that so? How intriguing. That's new even to me. There haven't been any examples of symbols being useful against silkworms in the past. Well, this is roughly what it looks like. We overlapped this pattern a dozen times, just to be safe. I take a tattered draft of the runes from the table and hand it to him. He seems quite interested, gazing at the pattern as intently as if he wanted to burn through the paper. But then he frowns. Remember this correctly, this is just a type of common hexagram often used in Southern Taoism. Very messy, distorted even. It's harmless and doesn't carry any power as far as I can tell. Are you sure it's really had an effect on silkworm? Well, to be honest, I don't really know. They did save the two girls, and judging by the havoc that was caused upstairs, I don't think they had enough strength left to make up a lie like that. In any case, it's all quite dangerous. Almost like a tug-of-war without a rope. The silkworm destroyed all the protective precautions I put in place. Without them, would Cecily have had a chance of surviving for 3 minutes? Perhaps I'm overreacting. Nobody has proven otherwise. It may be possible that the hexagram is effective against silkworms. Under what circumstances would you usually use this hexagram? Well, it has various applications. Since it has no real function and exists only as a symbol, it's often found in various decorative items. Not as distorted as in your drawing, though. Oh, that explains it, I guess. What's the matter? It's nothing. I'm starting to believe that I've just been really lucky lately. Luck is never more than a prerequisite, and no amount of luck would help you if you didn't put in the effort. Unless if you're Wool, because apparently Wool is extremely lucky. So I've been told by Ev. Compliments won't do me any good. I realize that. I just want you to be fully aware of how much of a difference you can make. He checks the bookshelves one by one, looking satisfied. Accurate categorization, no missing volumes. You're born to do this. Why are you helping me? Me and these books? Forget about taking me in for a minute. From the very beginning, you seem to know what was going on with Cecily. If that's really the case, wouldn't it have been better to be straightforward about it? We eat, drink, and walk according to what we were taught. But most of the world is foolish and lacks self-reflection. So we should be careful. Careful? Oh. That is clearly not me. Because this morning, when I was at work, I in my weird sleepy state, somehow managed to whack my face against one of the doors because I was trying to get product out to refill product and stuff. Somehow managed to smack the side of my face right up against the door. Yeah, no, right? I was not expecting it. I was wide awake, albeit tired. It was weird because, like, it's weird sons are tired and sleepy, and I just went whap right against the side of the door. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm even awake to be awake right now. Right? Yeah, so I was like, what's going on here? I'm going to wander away from the doors because I might do it to the other side of my face. Thankfully, I didn't break my glasses, so it was nice. But, yeah, no, I was just like, what just happened? I don't even know. So, yeah, no. Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it, kids. Don't do it. It's not worth the effort. It's not worth the trap. It seems like some kind of lesson. It is the motto that a group of shady individuals use to keep themselves motivated. Even though its origins elude them nowadays, they are still more careful than anyone else, even to this day. Unfortunately, I can't distance myself from them for a variety of reasons. His tone is bitter and seems to be hiding a lot of regret. When I was younger, I followed them blindly, often into situations I shouldn't have been part of. If it hadn't been for a coincidence, I might still be in the dark about that. I never assumed to call myself innocent, but that doesn't mean I was happy to stand by and watch them do what they did. Is that why you were hoping to help? The deliverer nods silently. Well, I'll be honest, even if helping Cecily brings you some kind of benefit that I don't know about, I won't bother telling you anything else. Unless it's out of the ordinary. You're my landlord after. Oh, the deliverer is his landlord. Oh. However, in an environment like this, I can hardly guarantee good quality work. This time around, luck was the only thing that made this a success. Don't you, I think that's a spelling error. Don't you have a better alternative than that? You seem to be overestimating my abilities. Every single brick and tile here is priceless to me. And you sleep peacefully upstairs every night while I can't even take a look inside. Is this place that precious to you? He gives me a sad look and speaks in a serious tone of voice. It is my home. It's the only place I find peace and stability. When a dad comes out, when a dad comes out as trans, dant. Yes, agreed. Dant. Yes, I agreed with that situation. Because that 100% suits the situation. Perfect. Huh? However, that is why I'm able to place you here with such confidence. For me, this is the last chance that God has given me. You seem to be having a hard time with it, though. As long as your results live up to my expectations, the pain I'm feeling is just part of the process. A Samian already sounds much more like himself again. I stretch my hands and drill the cigarette into the ashtray. So what else can I do for you? When the time comes, you'll know. All you have to do is what you think is right. He picks up his briefcase and turns around to leave the store. Until then, just hang in there. The deliverer's secret? Okay. Hang in there. I look down the notebook at my desk. In just a few days, it's already been filled with a multitude of notes and memos. Once they've been turned on, some switches are difficult to turn off. We could all use a break right now. Yes, a break, for sure. For sure. Lois? What? Sorry, I was distracted. Did you see anything strange? No, I was just curious. I saw someone walk by who looked familiar. Huh? You mean you saw someone you know near the bookstore? I don't think anyone from school would hang out here. Maybe the clothes were just similar. It's not particularly unusual to be wearing a trench coat in this weather, but something felt strange. Really? I didn't even notice. Never mind, it's too late to do anything about it now. Popping out, have fun? Okay, have fun. Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate all the fun, and hope to see you soon in stream, okay? Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you later. Okay? See you later. The girl nods and continues toward the station. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, see you later. It's sunnier than usual, but the weather hasn't been good these last few days. There are many things she'd like to say, but the words are stuck in her throat and she can't let them out. Lois can't help but think about how messy things had turned out. She feels that everything is her fault, but she is still overwhelmed by recent events. She has the courage to accept any punishment, but it's never came. It's as if she herself has become the person she used to hate so much, which makes her feel incredibly hollow inside. Oops. She sees the way Cecily is walking next to her, light on her feet and unburdened. She feels somewhat relieved, but also selfishly filled with despair. She has to face it. She can no longer choose to avoid it. Cecily, as it turns out, I'm not going to forgive you just like that. Is this really what it's going to be like? I don't want you to misunderstand, so I thought it'd be best to make myself clear. I have no intention of forgiving you just like that. Cecily stands in front of Eloise, feeling firmly planted on the ground, no signs of doubt on her face. The autumn breeze gently lifts up her slightly disheveled hair, revealing a few red marks on her face. For the first time, Eloise is a little uncomfortable looking into Cecily's clear, determined eyes. It used to be the other way around. Honestly, that's okay. It's not over yet. We're not the only ones in the art club. The sun didn't shake her out more than anything else. It's not like you acquired a lot of lilac grass in the past, right? I can't just ignore the fact that you used something so dangerous. Cecily tries to smile as the sun shines down on her, spreading its warmth across the entire road. I can't forgive you. It's just one more decision I have to make, and as things are, it's not that hard for me anymore. But, like the store manager said, forgiveness is never the end of a matter. There is no difference between forgiving someone and running away. Forgiveness also alone proves nothing, just like running away doesn't either. Trying to make a change is the only thing that makes a difference in this world. Look, what would people think if we just made up and pretended that nothing happened? Lois had paid a high price to prove herself, but it's true that there's more than one person involved in this situation. But the seeds that were planted don't just disappear. I'm the one responsible for all this. I shouldn't be the one to say this, but Cecily, you really do care about others too much. I don't think so. If mistakes were made, it's our duty to solve them, even if we weren't responsible. I don't plan on shouldering anyone else's burden. I listen to apologies and I'll stay reasonable, always. Same goes for you, Lois. If we're really still friends, then come with me and talk to our classmate. Cecily seems to have prepared the speech a long time ago. Lois's vision becomes a little blurry as she watches her friend talk so seriously. So, Eloise, hey, are you alright? What? Yeah, I'm obviously. Eloise can no longer hold back her emotion. The sorrow, the pain, the regret. They never went away after all, and now they're bursting out with her tears. Even I can't forgive myself for some things, but you can. Stop it has nothing to do with her. But it's her birthday. I remember someone saying something like that last night. And it sure as hell wasn't me. At this school, only one person knows when my birthday is. So what exactly did you see? And who did you say it to? Cecily covers her cheeks, looking embarrassed. You want to change, right? And I still have many things to learn. I want to continue this journey with you. Eloise doesn't even hear the whole sentence. The only thing she can hear is the sound of her own sobbing. Cecily gently hugged Eloise, trying her best to share her warmth. Now we have all the time in the world to correct our mistakes, to make things right. If patience really is key, we'll just have to be patient a little longer. If this is how we can make friends, that's motivation enough. Eloise tries to open her eyes, but all she can see is Cecily's bright smile right in front of her. Besides, I owe him an apology too. After all, I still don't know everyone's name yet. Even with tears in her eyes, Eloise smiles, and the sun, along with Cecily's embrace, fills her heart with warmth. Come on, we still need to get a lot of things done. Okay. The young girl used to have one problem. She suffered from nightmares even during the day. Now she's finally found her way to true redemption. Oh. Oh, one day in Zinwork. Oh, wow, this is the end of the chapter. Wow, that was late. That was late. Surprise! We are now at chapter 2. Apparently. Apparently, we are in chapter 2 now. I was not expecting the end of chapter 1 to be this long. A faint light. A little light can be seen, but not much. It's a precious thing, and there aren't many of those. Every few heartbeats, light tears through the darkness in front of its eyes. Then it remembers the good things, and the bad ones disappear into oblivion. It imagines itself eating, drinking, stretching its arms. After doing all that, the deepness surrounds it again. It gradually learns to be tired, but it also learns to crave a little excitement. But not yet. Neither this deep self nor the outer world is prepared for that encounter. A voice is calling it from the other side. It's in the deepest depths, but the light is everywhere, and it belongs there. It's time. It's time. Time yet? It isn't time yet. Oh, wow. Okay. There's a lot of spelling errors, grammatical errors, but I'm okay with that. I already stumbled through English as is. Its new wings have not yet grown, and its new self is not mature enough, so it waits. It decides to take care of the immediate problem first. Uh-oh. Imagining itself eating, drinking, and stretching its arms. It has finally left this existence behind. For Love and Family, Chapter 2. This is hard. Okay. My joints crack loudly. They say pain is the first sign of the body recovering from fatigue. I have my doubts about the person who made that claim. It's Monday morning and the sun is nowhere to be seen. To be honest, this mildly warm day is quite dull. After 2 days of light rain over the weekend, the temperature hasn't dropped at all. The air feels quite stuffy. Okay, let's look at the case files. Okay. Sure. I guess we don't, oops. Okay. Tables turned. Yes. Ooh, okay. Okay. Oh yeah, we should probably save, even though it was, an autosave earlier. Even though it was an autosave earlier, we will definitely save. Okay, there we go. Okay. The weather is downright depressing, and I'm in a bad mood since I can't seem to find a place to relax. I'm getting old. I can't do this anymore. Looking around the ground floor at Hermitage, everything looks the same as always, when in fact the whole ceiling on the upper floor was torn apart just last week. Even I am surprised that the damage wasn't more extensive. Since it took a lot of effort to clean up the plaster and redecorate the walls, it is unfortunate that we didn't ask for a higher fee to expel the scaly silkworm. Cecily has been asking questions over the phone all weekend. She feels incredibly guilty and doesn't seem to realize that she herself deserves the most right. Luckily, she didn't come over today. It would have been really awkward otherwise. When Scarlett and I were coaxing Cecily to stay at home, Eloise visited Hermitage once again. She seemed like a decent person, even after being a victim of this whole affair. She brought the rest of the lilac grass to the bookstore and asked me to keep it hidden away. She was forgiven pretty quickly. She must have thought a lot about it. But that's not all she wanted, and unfortunately none of her other wishes came true over the weekend. Which makes it clear that the trouble is far from over. This feeling's getting worse. It sounds like an old person problem, honestly. It definitely sounds like an old person problem. Which, unfortunately, is also me. Which also, unfortunately, is also me. But you know, that's okay. That is A-okay with me. I guess a stomach ache at the thought of having to ask Scarlet for help to wrap things up. Scarlet already had a week's worth of trouble on her hands, without even taking into account the problems that the weekend caused. There's no doubt in my mind that she's planning on coming after me for the letter to collect my debt. Really, you must have been missing me a lot then. Speak of the devil, Scarlet's tall and elegant figure appears at the entrance of the shop. She pushes up her sunglasses and flips the door, signed to closed. Finally, you're here. Our premonition might not actually come true, I suppose. So I bury the thought at the back of my mind. Well, we're gonna look at the bookshelf here. I think we got some new books. Did we not get? I thought we got new books. I thought we got some new books, but apparently we did not. Apparently we did not. Okay. Thoughts. Let's ask our thoughts here. The unhealthy smoke rises up and makes its way through my fingers. I really don't like being in debt to someone for a prolonged time. Owing favors is such a nuisance. Scarlet is an exception, though. Making a deal with her is always worth it. Curious to see if the case will develop further. If possible, it would be better to get this thing over with as soon as possible. Case files. Okay. Okay. So nothing suspicious at the moment. Okay. We will, definitely ask the question. Finally, a rare chance to sit down. The lawyer is as breezy as ever as she tosses her briefcase onto the desk and casually unbuttons her collar in an attempt to breathe more freely. Good to see you here again. How was your weekend? Pretty bad, actually. After all, I don't get paid for working overtime. Any progress on the road collapse case? Yes, but frankly, it doesn't do us any good. Due to the high cost of maintaining a blockade, the decision has been made to focus on reopening the roads. This means that they will have to start cleaning up the damaged areas and replacing the entire road, even if it affects a follow-up investigation. Sooner than I thought. A rash decision like this will affect the credibility, no matter what. Do they really think this is a better solution than waiting a little longer? The Department of Public Transport is probably involved, who knows for sure. But lines will load for you, right? As if I'd fight to the death for that paycheck. The lawyer shrugs dismissively. With this sudden shift in priorities, resources will be diverted elsewhere, which means it'll be hard for me to get involved in the investigation. Keep in mind that I'm just a lawyer, not a certified detective. What's more, analyzing the cause of the road damage requires field research. You've seen the surveillance footage, but apart from that, our findings aren't of much help in this investigation. I need more information. I want to know how the road was damaged, whether it melted or if it was blasted open. I don't believe a flash of light could have caused such a neat hole in the ground. Something just doesn't seem right. The unusual destruction speaks for itself. Unfortunately, the city seems to be flooded by the unusual these days. Sounds like you have at least seen the sinkhole with your own eyes. Yeah, but my intuition tells me something bad. Something I don't want to come true. Scarlet sounds tired and rubs her eyes. The road looks as if someone used a sci-fi laser on it, but then there can't have been an explosion. Describing it so vividly is just making me even more confused. There's no point in talking about it. In a few hours, they'll be taking a sledgehammer to the place. When the repair work is complete, more than 20 tons of new concrete and steel bars will bear clues, and an extra layer of asphalt will be added on top. Investigating the sinkhole. Your list of complaints could fill a whole book. How about you? Did you find the person who sold lilac grass to the students at Phoenix High School? Now, Eloise came in here on Saturday and described several faces that she saw. But what can I do about it? Even if she painted portrait sketches of each person, it wouldn't be of much use. I can see that you still want to track down that lead. Scarlet seemed to have no intention of listening to my grumbling, so she taps on the table, signaling for me to go on. If you let the lilac grass circulate in society, sooner or later those supernatural things will target the city. Today has been hard enough without sowing some more seeds of misfortune. It would be foolish to believe that just because of one successful escape, it's suddenly all over. I really envy you for being so motivated all the time. It's just that you've been cooped up too long and used up all your energy. At the end of the day, though, this task should have been left to professionals, not to lawyers or researchers who are only good at guessing and letting other people do their dirty work. So you're saying we can't even have a cup of tea together? You're not making me any happier with that statement. Is there no progress in the investigation? You probably won't like my answer. Uh-oh. Is there not enough evidence to attract the attention of the higher-ups? We really need something more concrete to prove it. If we made the whole situation regarding the lilac grass public, only an absolute fool would ignore it. We can't walk around with that kind of information and not do anything about it. Then why? The bait I put out there wasn't necessary. They're already working on the case. Oh. Are you saying that someone started investigating drug trafficking at the school before we did? Not exactly. However, since they don't seem interested in our information, it's likely they have some similar information already. However, with my current contacts, I can't find out which team is actually handling the matter. Everyone I know regarding that issue is being watched very closely. It doesn't seem like a regular hierarchy either, so it's hard to get any information from the outside. Sorry, I'm not of much help to you. No, I'm the one who has been putting all the pressure on you. There's no use lying to yourself. You're not going to sleep peacefully until you get this sorted out, are you? I wonder if you ever get a good night's sleep in general. Has anyone ever told you that sometimes it's just better to keep your mouth shut? I mean, I've had many people tell me that before, but, do I? Not really. I don't. I just don't. I keep talking anyways. But that's just only with people I trust. With people I don't trust or don't like, no. I'll just keep quiet. Scarlet is in a really bad mood today, too anxious even to crack a joke. I quickly decided to change the subject and stop irritating her with the fact that this case is getting more and more complicated. But professionals, geez, even if we could get a private detective to help us out. Not like you to involve other people. What kind of professional spends their day investigating other people's affairs? Sounds like you're holding a personal grudge? It has nothing to do with a personal grudge. Just think about it. Don't you think it would cause us an even bigger headache if the person in charge has a hard time finding so much as a shred of evidence, finds out all kinds of embarrassing stuff by sneaking around and lockpicking instead? Probably make it sound like as if we're in Victorian London. This is the digital age. I forgot to ask, how are Cecily and the others? The hole in her hand hasn't changed, but seems to itch a bit when it comes in contact with water. It's a good thing that it's autumn, so wearing long sleeves helps to cover it up. A bicycle accident is the excuse she's going with. Looks pretty extreme, so maybe the other students will be more careful on their bikes from now. That's not a solution to the problem. Is there nothing we can do? For now, the best solution is to protect her and let her rest. The wound can't heal normally, but the world will gradually forget about it, and that should make it return to its usual form. Not organic damage after all. The only advice I can give is that it should be covered with something like a bandage for mental health reasons more than anything. It must be tough having to deal with all this at such a young age. I'm sure she's strong enough to deal with this. The hand injury is probably nothing compared to the ache in her heart. Look at this kid, calmly getting her hair done. She was in contact with a scaly silkworm and basically just ruined one set of clothes. The fact that her face and limbs are still intact is pure luck. We can only hope that she gets along with their club again. Speaking of which, what exactly did Eloise want? Like I already said, a group of people supplied her with lilac grass, and as soon as Eloise tried getting back in contact with them, they disappeared. If you left a chalk mark in the alley by the school, they would meet you the following evening. Since it's a rather passive way of contacting someone, there's nothing we can do if they don't respond. Even though she's quite mature, Eloise is still just an ordinary high school student who's a bit too smart for her own good. I shouldn't put too much pressure on her. Do we know anything else about the meeting place? I wish I could give you an answer to that, but well, forget about it. It seems to be a normal alley. The residential areas near Phoenix High School have had pretty much the same alleys ever since they were built several years ago. According to Eloise, there are no windows on either side of the alley and just one locked back door from one of the shops. It's pretty dirty, so nobody would go back there voluntarily. Last weekend, Cecily went back there too, and surreptitiously left a few markings or something. But in the end, there wasn't a single person there. All she saw was a little cat running down and making a mess. What does she want? She almost got killed by that scaly silkworm. Why would she go looking for trouble again? It's just some childish notion of wanting to end it or something. I've already spoken to her a great deal, so save your breath. Scarlett's lips are pressed tightly together, maybe because she knows I'm right. She grumpily rubs two fingers across her forehead. I highly doubt we'll find anyone by means of those markings. Maybe we shouldn't hope for that to happen in the first place. You shouldn't really leave behind anything if you're sneaking around. Eloise described them as a rather comely dress. They weren't wearing any fancy clothes or accessories, but the way they spoke to each other sounded really frightening. As they say, evil comes in many forms. If they don't look as evil as the things they do, that just means they're hiding it really well. But do you really think a group selling dangerous drugs to immature students would keep such a low profile? Yes. 100% would think that they would do that. I thought the same thing. In the beginning, I assumed they were just a couple of young dealers trying to make some money. But once Eloise said that they were mostly middle-aged and seemed very calm and collected, something felt off. When was the last time Eloise saw them? It must have been at least a week or two ago when Cecily first started using lilac grass. As soon as her stocks were exhausted, she went to go get more. You know what happened after that. If you want more information, you can just ask her yourself instead of coming to me. Wait, a week ago? Is that why you were so concerned about it? Change is a signal itself. First, the street in Motto was destroyed, and soon after that, a group of outlaws suddenly abandons their operation and disappears. Under normal circumstances, those two things might not be related, but none of this can be considered normal anymore. The smaller circle, the more likely the connection. Does make sense, but the lawyer doesn't look convinced. I mean, there are thousands of people who share a birthday, for example. But would you call that a connection? Just so you know, I'm saying this for your own good. Your logic isn't logical yet. Well, yeah, her logic isn't logical yet. Well, if there's anything logical to rely on, I'd happily do so. But since there isn't, let me do some more digging. The main reason I came here today is because I wanted you to keep looking for clues. I've just lost a big lead and I don't want another one to go to waste. The road may be fixed and any clues destroyed, but there has to be something else we can think of. Who knows, I'll just keep looking for some more excuses to file another investigation or collect some more surveillance tapes. I know it doesn't seem like the best approach, but times have changed. I'll give you Elisa's phone number so you can get in contact with her. Don't push too hard, and if anything comes up, let me know and we can discuss it together. That seems to make her feel a little better. Scarlett, chucks a notebook and pencil at me. I'm afraid all of this won't be enough. I need to write down a couple things and mull things over. He can be just as reckless as those 2 high school kids sometimes. There is no obstacle that can be overcome, but you have to find the right opportunity to do so. I don't need you to tell me that. Never mind, I'll take care of it. Since we don't have anything more to discuss here, I'll head back now and look for some other possibilities to delay the road, but I'll keep in touch. Sure, you're always welcome. After grabbing the door, after grabbing your briefcase. Oh, wow, I completely read that wrong. After grabbing her briefcase, Scarlet walks towards the door and leaves swiftly. I look at my desk, moving the ashtray aside to grab a map of the local area beneath it. I draw a circle around Phoenix High School and another one around the Outer Banks. Even on paper, the two are pretty far apart. 10 centimeters could be hiding many connections or nothing at all. Or maybe nothing at all. The ending of this tumultuous week just adds to the mystery, which is little to keep up morale. Nonetheless, we've helped 2 people. I take a deep breath, trying to chase away the anxiety that lingers in my heart. Okay, so we are actually going to stop here for today. We are going to call it a night. We are gonna go raid Saname. So that is who we are going to raid. As they were saying earlier, they're playing virtual reality life, I think. So anyways, yes, thank you. Also, thank you for stopping by. And hello, Demon Fox. Welcome. Yes. Thank you. Anyways, thanks all for stopping by. On Thursday, for sure, we're going to be playing some more Spirit Hunter NG. And then, yeah, but there might be a surprise stream in the next few days. We'll see. Who knows? I'll figure something out. Anyways, thanks all for stopping by. And we will see you guys Thursday. Goodbye.